My lords, ladies and gentlemen, a very warm welcome back to Transport Fever 2, and this is episode number 12 of the passenger only series. So after finishing off the entire main line from north to south on this map, we now cover every town from Hull to Wigan as part of the main line. Well, no, let me rephrase that. We don't cover every town on the main line. We cover every town we intended to with the main line. In short, we now have a way to get from the top to the bottom of the map without interruption. So we're going to take a little break from the trains today, and we're going to turn our attention to the bus systems that we have in all of the towns and cities. I have been saying for quite a while that it would be a good idea to modify the bus systems that we currently have, the bus services. As you will be well aware, to start things off, all we did is very simple, brute force, very basic loop systems around all the cities. Now, while they're small towns, that's pretty much okay and that's what you need. However, we're at a place now where some of our cities, such as Thurrock, as we can see ahead of us, have grown quite a lot, and they need something a bit more befitting their status and a simple basic loop. So that's what we'll be doing today. We'll be starting in Thurrock. Hopefully we'll be able to attend to some of our other cities as well in this episode, but we shall see. I think what I'll do, I'll get as many cities as we can done today, hopefully at least 2 of them, and then the other cities I will do in just a special video for the Patreon supporters and upload it on there. The next full episode for the series, however, will be returning to extra trains and looking at our train lines. So let's make a start in Thurrock, shall we? So, as we can see, Thurrock has grown quite a lot. It's quite a sprawling city, and it does have quite an imposing skyline, as we can see. If we just get down to ground level and pan the camera around a little, yeah, we can see we've got quite the busy skyline building up here. A lot of high rises, framed nicely by the hillside in the background. I apologise for the traffic noise there if that picked up. So what we'll do is we want to basically have another setup like this, but with a few more terminals open to it, and we want to have it somewhere central in the city itself. I'm thinking we'll go here. It's not quite central, but I'm reluctant to do any demolition work through here because it would completely tear down the very impressive skyline that Thurrock has managed to create for itself. So yeah, I think we'll go in this area right here. So we'll pause it for this. This is going to upset this bus system because we're going to remove one of their stops. However, because that bus system is going to get overhauled, it's not too much of a concern. So we just need to very quickly remove all the buildings around this square here, so we have full access to the entire square. Nearly deleted the road there, don't want to do that. Something like that will do. And then we just want to smooth this off in here. So we've got nice flat level terrain to work with. And then we want to, in the middle of this new square we've created, we want to build a new bus terminal. So we'll go quite big, so we'll go 6 platforms, that's 3 on either side. And we just want to rotate this around. And I think having it this orientation is gonna be the best, though the best option. So if we position it there, and then what we will do is configure this, increase the platform length by I think an extra 2 nodes on each of these platforms. And that's just to try and get it a little bit more symmetric in this square. Put down the extra station access point and then connect it in to that junction we have right there, ready made for us. Construct that. that's nice. We've got no massive dips or hills or speed bumps anywhere. Just flatten off the edges of the roads and the bus station itself. Or just blend them together rather than flattening them. And there we go, this will be our central exchange. No, that will be Riley White. This will be our central exchange. So we will call this Thurrock Central. Right, so what we're going to do now, we can allow them to rebuild. So if they want to start building in this area, that is fine. But what we want is from this central point here, is to have lines that radiate out in a spoke wheel style fashion to various points around the town. The idea being here is that the buses will run out to the extremities of the town, then come back. All the passengers will head here by and large before swapping onto a second service if they want to head to the station, for instance. So if you wanted to travel from up here and get to the station, you'd come into the centre, change buses, and we'll have a direct service between the central station and Houston, Thurrock Houston. So what we'll do here then is, first of all, we're going to have to just demolish all the bus stops that we currently have. Now that's going to make for a very unhappy bus service and some quite upset passengers. However, it'll be replaced by something a bit more fitting, I believe. So I think the way we'll do this is, I suppose we'll just like run around the clock, if you will. So 12, maybe 2, 3, 5, 6, 8, 9 and 10, something like that. So then we cover all directionals. That's not a word, is it? No, it's not. Yeah, we'll cover all the directions. We certainly want to get the cardinal directions, so we want to get north, east, south and west if nothing else. So let's make a start then. So this bus line here, which now only covers 2, Thurrock Transfer to Thurrock Central, it can be renamed. We may as well keep the buses, the vehicles assigned to it. There's no problem with that. And this can be the Thurrock Station Exchange. And all that's going to do is run from here to here. So get the passengers as they get dropped off here, they'll get collected on this new line and run out here, and vice versa. When they get off the train, they can be brought into the central passenger station in Thurrock before heading on to where they need to be. Seems logical to me. We might need to, what's the word I'm looking for, adjust the amount of buses that we have. But for now we'll keep it as is, because we obviously don't want the people hanging around here or here too long. We want to get them to and fro as quickly as possible. Okay, so with that done, we can start the actual runs through town. And let's just have one that comes up here, comes up here, comes down here, and then down here. So they are going to be kind of loops. I prefer them to be spokes, but they do have to come back. I suppose we could just go up there and then straight back down. Why not? No, we'll do that little loop. So this one will come from Thurrock Central, rock around this little section of town before heading back, and that's all it's going to cover. So Kingsway, The Drive, West Street and George Street. And this will be Thurrock Line 01. And then we'll have Thurrock Line 02, 03, 04, so on and so forth. You get the idea. So then we'll have another one what comes out this way, heads up through here, and maybe we'll have it loop around the top here, and then it can head back down this way. So we'll duplicate the buses or the bus stops here, and then it will stop on the opposite sides of the road as it heads back like that. So new line once again, from the central station out this way, around this little loop at the top of the town, before heading back down. Oh, I don't think we had him, we don't need to go on Chester Road there, we've missed that one. St. John's Road, Main Road, South Street. Whoops. So let's see, Victoria Street. Then we want St. John's Road there, then Main Road, then South Street. I think they've opted to use the same station or same bus stop on the same side of the street there, which they shouldn't be doing. So let's pop you on there, and then you do a weird loop there, which we saw in the last episode, which you don't like, but it's fine. At Main Road, yep, number 2, that's okay. At St. John's Road, number 1, yes. Only one there. Loop, 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 that's all simple. Bypass Chester Road, back to St. John's Road, where now you should be on platform or station, stop, whatever you want to call it, number 2. Then Main Road there, number 1, yep. And then you come down here onto South Street. Again, a little weird loop thing there, but it's okay. And then you're coming into the central station to drop off. Yeah, that works quite nicely. Why don't we just pop you on to terminal number 2 here, like that. There we go. Ideally, what we also want to do at some point is use waypoints around this area. So rather than having our buses do what they do currently, as we can see here where they come off platform and then double back through the centre of the overall station, they just go on straight through. So it's almost like it's one way, but it's not, because it can come in from either direction, but I'm sure you understand what I mean. So this will be Thurrock, if it's user correct case sizes. Thurrock line 02. Is that what we went with? Thurrock line? Yep, Thurrock line 02. So that encompasses this area of the town. I think between these stations here we have got good coverage, so we don't need to put anything up into this little area here. So now what we'll do is have another line that comes down to here and then back up, one that comes and does this area, and then one that covers this small area here. I think that should be enough for Thurrock. So again, we are coming out. Let's have you come down this way, down here, around this small area here, which I believe is the industrial area. Of course, we're not expanding the industrial zone in this playthrough because we're not doing any freight work. And then you can head, yeah, you can head back in from there. So we're a bit laggy today actually. I'm not sure what's going off here. In fact, just bear with me for one moment. Okay, sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. I think I've managed to clear it up. I do apologise for that. I'm not sure what was going wrong there. Anyway, where were we? So we'd set up yeah, that's good English. We'd set up our first 2 bus loops in Thurrock, and we'd got the stations down to do the southbound bus loop as well. So let's actually set up that line now. So it's coming from the central station and then it's heading down Manchester Road and then down here around this area here before heading back up into Thurrock Central. That's that one taken care of. Let's just give it a quick name change to fit in with all the others. So that's Thurrock Bus 03. Oh, sorry, it should be Thurrock Line 3. Thurrock Line 3, there we go. So now let's do another line down here. Of course, we've still got to put all the vehicles on these yet, but there's no rush for that. And that can just do a simple loop down there. So there will be some overlapping coverage on these, but that's fine. And we come down here, around this little block and then back up there. Overlapping coverage there, but that's not a problem, as we said. And this is Thurrock Line 4. And then I think we'll have a final one just to cover this little area here as well. Again, we might see some overlapping coverage, but it's not too much of an issue. Like that. So new line again, Thurrock Central, and if I can just, yeah, it's that station there, isn't it? I wanted to make sure, of course, that we are using the correct bus stops here. There we go. And that is Thurrock line 5. Very, very simple and straightforward. Excellent. Right, so now what we want to do, as I mentioned earlier, is possibly think about putting some waypoints everywhere around this area. And that's so we have a bit more fine control over which way our buses are going in and out of the station, which station entrance and exits they're going to be using. So we'll just place them down quite free and easy like this. We can't put one there like that. That should hopefully be enough. And then what we want to do is just look at the lines that are visible and rearrange these lines as they come in and out of here, so it hopefully ends up being a little bit less tangled than it currently is. So for instance, if we start with the station exchange service, after they have been to the station, which is Thurrock Transfer, what we want them to do is to come in via this waypoint here. So then they come in onto their platform and then straight out. They don't have to turn around inside this bus station itself. Bus line 01 is already doing that. It goes straight through, but it is sharing a platform. We don't want it to do that, so let's put it down onto number 6 like that. Thurrock line 02 is not sharing, but it is looping. So what we'll have it do is come out via this waypoint and then head off round its pre-assigned journey. That's fine. Thurrock line 03 is not sharing, but it is looping. So ideally we want it to come in this way. So it's straight through. It does make the return journey perhaps a little bit longer than it really needs to be, but it keeps everything tidy in and around here, which is perhaps and arguably the most important thing. And then line 4 is sharing, but that can stay on that platform. We'll reassign line 5. It's also looping, so after Main Street, let's have you come in via the waypoint over here. If we can select it. Where's the waypoint? There it is. Yep. And then you go onto your platform and then go on your merry way. And then last of all, number 5 is sharing and looping. So let's put it onto number 1 so it's no longer sharing. And let's have you come up this way as well. So after New Street, go via this waypoint here. And then there we go. And what that's also done is made sure we have 3 coming in one way, 3 departing one way, and same over here. Wonderful. So I think we're now ready to actually purchase all the buses that we need to populate all these lines. So let's head to our road depot. Again, we are sticking with these space buses, and I'm going to say we'll have 6 per line. And how many lines do we have? We have 6 in total, but we've already got buses on one of them. So we need 30 then, don't we? Because we've got 5 that we need to populate with 6 buses apiece. So 9 million for those. So what we have to do now is take the first 6, or take them in blocks of 6. Just head down here so we can see the line colours nice and easy and vividly. You will be that. Is that the right? No, you want to be that one. I'm working from the bottom here. And you're going on to line 1. The next 6 then are going to be this sky blue colour here, this teal sort of, is it teal? Is it aquamarine? Let's just call it light blue. Yeah, this light blue one, which I believe is that colour there. You're on line 3. The next batch are not going on this line because we already have buses on the station exchange. You're this lime green colour here, which I believe is that one, on line 4. The next 6 are this blue colour here, which is, I don't know, that one? Is it that one? I thought that was that one. I suppose it, I know it does matter, doesn't it? Let's have them a slightly different shade. You're on line 2. And then the final ones are these yellow ones, which go onto line 5. And there we go. We have buses for days. And hopefully that should give us pretty much full coverage around Thurrock. As it expands, we might need to chuck a few more auxiliary lines in, or add in extra stations on our existing lines. But for the time being, we can get all over Thurrock. Oh, we have some tailbacks right here. What's going off? Perhaps if we... what could be causing that, do we think? Well, the roundabout's making it a lot faster. I think it is just the slowing down here and then the merging. Is this somewhere where, for once, we might benefit from traffic lights? We'll have the traffic lights just where the traffic merges onto the roundabouts, like that. We don't want them where they leave the roundabout, because they shouldn't be crossing over. They should be in their correct lane already, so they don't have to cross over traffic, so we don't need to control the flow. But having them here might be a good idea. Right, let's see what that does. We'll keep an eye on that. Now, before I started recording, there was one other thing I wanted to do in today's episode, and that was this service here. This has gone through the roof in terms of popularity. 390, 400 people wanting to use a Poole Carlisle Express, and we have only one little solitary train attempting to keep all those people moving. So basically we need to add more vehicles onto this service, and I think we'll go for a total of 3 running on the Carlisle to Poole Express service, and just keep an eye on that in the future in terms of what it does for the backlog. As we can see, our other stations where we do have people waiting, which is absolutely fine, they're not waiting over long. The main line is still something of an issue here. I think, do we want a Thurrock Carlisle Express service as well? I don't know. But I think for now, I know I said I was going to try and do a second city in this as well, but I think that's where we're going to leave it for today's episode. The rain has really kicked in outside, and there's a few things I need to get done, unfortunately. So I'm going to find myself a little bit wet. So I'm going to have to leave it here. If I'm going to have to get wet, then I may as well get on with it and get it out of the way. Right, so cab ride then. Do we want to... no. Do we want to go on a bus cab ride? I don't think so, because the traffic is just too frustrating, I think, there. Now, let's find ourselves a nice train. Should we go on the circular line? Are you a circular line train? No, you're not. Oh, the circular line is up here, isn't it? Are you a circular? Yes, you are. Let's have a ride to... let's go to Staveley. That's quite a long one. So we'll go Sheffield, Carlisle, Leeds, and then Staveley. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed the video. As always, a very special thank you to my Patreon supporters. For now though, ladies and gentlemen, all that remains for me to say is, as always, take very good care of yourselves. It's ta-ta for now.